Where are you from?
I'm from Charlotte-ish. I'm originally from Charlotte, but I moved to Gastonia at like 9, 10.
Oh, no.
So it's about 30 minutes away, but I still claim Charlotte.
I feel like everyone from outside of Charlotte always says
Yeah.
I'm from Charlotte,
But at least I used to live there, so I feel like it's okay. Where are you from?
Chapel Hill.
Okay,
Actually,
cool. So you're
yeah.
from the area.
Born and raised. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you make your way here to UNC?
So everybody always assumes since I'm from here that I probably wanted to come here, but I actually didn't at all. I really wanted to get out of Chapel Hill, so I ended up doing a gap year and going to Ecuador for a year.
Oh, that's cool.
And then was committed to Sewanee to play lacrosse.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then during my gap year, totally changed my mind, applied to UNC again, and then decided to come here. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know Spanish?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a
Yes.
Spanish minor.
Oh, nice. That's cool. What about you?
Well, I started looking at UNC just because I'm from North Carolina, and it's just always talked about. But specifically, around 10th grade or so, I was looking at schools that had the major I wanted to, which was graphic design-ish, something around that. But I applied to UNC, or I wasn't going to apply to UNC because I thought it wasn't as specific as I wanted it to be compared to other design programs at different schools. But then I came here to do Project Uplift my junior year of high school, and I ended up just talking to the student here, and she's like, oh no, I'm basically just do graphic design, I'm doing exactly what I want, and it was just everything I needed to hear to get me to apply. And so I did that, and I toured, I ended up liking it a lot, and now I'm here.
Remind me what Project Uplift is again?
It's basically it's this program that juniors in high school do, and it's for minority students to kind of get a understanding of college and just get them more involved in the application process and ease them into the college system, I guess.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Okay, what's a distinct happy childhood memory?
Okay. I don't know. I was only child, so I feel like I was by myself a lot, but I guess that's not really the case. Okay, on Sundays, I would always go to my dad's house because my parents are divorced, and just Sundays in general, a nice day to think about because he'd always take me to the museum or the movies, the park, whatever it was that my mom kind of got bored with because I always bothered her in the middle of the week, so she was like, okay, your dad's gonna take you. And so it was just always something fun to do on Sundays, and I think that's a fun memory of mine. What about yours? Happy memory?
I feel like generally, so I have 3 sisters, so lots of girls, but my dad was always taking us outside to do things, so I have a very distinct one of when I was probably 4 years old, and we were building a tree house in our backyard, and he harnessed us to the tree, and basically well, okay, we went up, we were standing on the platform, and then we put rock climbing harnesses on, and he tied us to the tree so we wouldn't fall off.
Just went down the tree.
And then gave us brooms, so we were just up there sweeping the platform of the treehouse for hours. But we felt super useful, and we had actually built the treehouse. So.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, it's my turn. What's the biggest challenge you've faced?
I think ever.
Yes.
Let's see. I guess the most challenging time probably was my gap year, because it was an amazing opportunity, but also I was living in a very isolated village of around 200 people who mainly spoke Quechua, which is the indigenous language. And so even though I learned Spanish when I was there, most of the time people would be speaking and I couldn't jump into conversations. So it was just feeling lonely a lot. And then also getting sick a lot,
Oh, jeez.
just from food
Oh, no.
and stuff. But it was an amazing experience that I wouldn't trade. But definitely a lot of time alone. But yeah, probably like made me who I was today. So
I don't think I could do that right out of high school.
it was a lot, but yeah, a lot of people actually ended up, or like a few people ended up leaving the program
Oh, really?
just because it was intense. But
Was it World Race?
it was called Global Citizen Year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know a few people on a gap year doing traveling
Okay.
and stuff. But,
What about you?
I would say the biggest challenge I faced just kind of is how I like navigate in spaces as like a Black person or Black female specifically, and a lot of that's just due to the fact that from 5th to 9th grade, I was like pretty much the only Black student in my grade, and so like all my friends were white, and so it wasn't a problem, wasn't anything that, and especially in 5th grade. I went to like a private school in Gastonia, so like navigating into that space as like 11-year-old, you don't really like notice it as much, but everyone notices you, and so it's just a weird situation to be in as an 11-year-old, always kind of like having all eyes on you for like not doing anything in particular, and so kind of leaving that space and going into like a new environment in a public school where there are like other Black students and other like races just in general, and it's not just like white spaces. It was really interesting because like I was kind of battling this like, because everyone was always like, you act white, or why don't you act Black, or like it was just this weird like stereotype that I never really morphed to, whether it was around Black kids, like you act so white or you're not Black enough, and the other side it's like you're too Black or like anything like that, and it's just like so I'm like kind of still learning how to like go about it, because I'm still at a primarily white institution, and I still have like mostly white friends, but it's not something I would change. It just like kind of shapes how I see the world, and like I think I have a really good perspective from it, but it is really challenging to like, I don't know, just navigate anywhere I go, because I always feel like someone's looking at me. But yeah. Who's the biggest role model in your life?
I would say a big one is my older sister. She's done things very differently than a lot of people. Like, she's sort of been on and off, gone to college, like at UNC, but now she actually moved to Colombia, South America on New Year's, and is starting a company there.
That's insane.
Yeah, and she's always just encouraged me to, you don't have to do things like everyone else. You can create your own path and do what you're truly passionate about and believe in. And so I think that she's somebody that actually embodies that and not just says it.
Yeah, they actually walk the walk.
Yeah. So that's been an inspiration for me, I think.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. For me, I would say it's my mom, because like as I mentioned before, I come from a divorced family and no siblings, so it was literally just me and her growing up, because my parents divorced before I could even remember, and so she's always been like my number one supporter, whether it's like financially, emotionally, physically, whatever it may be. But I just look up to her a lot because she's done like everything on her own, and she's never even asked for help. And I always question why she did that, but I guess, I mean, I still don't know. Maybe I should ask her again now that I'm older. But she's done a really good job, I think. Whether I turn out good or not, I think she's done everything that she could to like her best of capability, and I really appreciate that, because I know some people don't have that support system from their family or just their parents in general, and I think she took up both roles really well. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh my gosh. I think honestly, just basic things like being the best friend I can possibly be, and being a great sibling. I try to be close to all my sisters equally and always be there for them and my friends as well. I would like to do something within like environmental or educational impact.
That's cool.
But I think that a lot of impact can be made on a small scale.
Yeah.
And I would hope to not be somebody who would have to like expand a lot, or like if I came up with a nonprofit or something like that, I would hope to be satisfied with keeping it small, and not having it only be based on numbers.
Yeah.
That's important to me. So, what about you?
I think I say a lot that I'm like a really chill, relaxed person, and like it takes a lot to make me mad, but I hope that's how people actually see me. So I guess I would want to be remembered for like making an impact, but in a way that's like not as out there and bold. Like I want to be unproblematic, but I also like I want to be remembered for caring about issues besides my own, and kind of like being ally for communities that I can't necessarily like understand, and it's not really my place to understand, but it is a place to support them and just like uplift them and make sure their voices are heard. And I think that's what I want to be remembered for, because I would want people to do the same for me. So I guess it goes back to the golden rule.
Yeah.
Just treat people how you want to be treated.
True.
But yeah, I guess that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And what's the most interesting thing you've learned about me?
Oh man. I think that I'm so impressed that you're only a first year, because you have such a grasp on who you are up to this point, and like a grasp to that you're still discovering certain things, but like you're being very intentional about doing that. And the fact that you like knew that you wanted to do graphic design, and then we're researching programs about that. I mean, I had no direction coming out of high school, so even that in itself is super impressive to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would say the most interesting thing I've learned about you is that you seem like a very selfless person, because there aren't too many people I know that could leave home and go to a foreign country and insert them in a like area where you don't know the language, even though you like may have an understanding of like Spanish, but it's still way different than being fluent, and it takes a lot to just be able to do that and like give up, like you said, maybe like a sense of community, or because you said you felt isolated, or communication to your family. That's really courageous.
Thank you.
And I say a lot of that because I know I couldn't do that, or maybe later, but definitely not at the age of like 18, 17. But that's
thank
really
you.
like, yeah, I think that was really bold, and yeah, I see a lot going on for you.
Thanks. Well, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I
This
guess
was really
this is the
fun.
end of the questions.
I know.
But
Sweet.